guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another case review for you. For the regulars, before you say anything about the echoing, it's because I'm in or the sound, it's because I'm in my office and it's concrete walls rather than the wooden walls of the shed, so that's the reason for the echo, but we'll be getting a mic, so hopefully we'll be able to get around this. Right, I'm here today with a NZXT Panzerbox, and because we're at I've got my new office, we've got the new site, we are going to be doing the testing slightly differently, and it's something in hindsight I should really have been doing all along, but I'll just say it now and get it out of the way that I'm going to be, the graphics cards, I'll test the graphics cards now, we're going to manually set them to 50% on the fan speed, and basically take the auto off so that we can tell the difference between the cases. Right, now yeah, I am sat down, but it's because of the desk, it's just easier for me to sit on my chair and work through what we're going to say. But the Panzerbox, it's a lot shorter than you'd expect, but it's also quite a bit wider. But the reason for that, I expect quite a few of you have looked at this and have been studying it, but the reason for that is because of it's got quite a unique layout at the back. I mean, we've got the normal ATX layout here, but the power supply, rather than being above, is down at the side, which is where it gets all its extra width from. It's quite an interesting layout, but we'll get to that later on. If we start talking about the main features, this air vent in the side is for your power supply. I'm hoping that the lights are going to pick it up, because I think what I'm going to have to do, I can't really see on the camera from here, but I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get a light underneath as well, but when I watch it back we'll see. Anyway, it's got a very large, it's got a large 190mm fan in the front and in the roof. Now these fans can push 150 CFM at 12 volts, so there's a fair bit of air movement there. But the trade-off with this air movement is they are very noisy when they're on full whack, and it's sat by the side of you. Especially, you know how your house, when you're sat there, and as it gets later, everything in your house gets louder because everything around you gets quieter. Well, this thing is crazy. You can hear it a mile off. It's definitely not the type of thing that you want if you've got parents that are going to know that you're up really late, or if you've got, for argument's sake, kids or a girlfriend that's going to moan at you for creating a lot of noise. So you really will need to turn the fans down. Now, it's got three 5 1/4 inch drive bays in the front, so you can have an optical drive and a couple of hard drives in there as well. On the top, you've got 2 USBs, your microphone, mouse and e-SATA, all the normal stuff. Power and resets here, and most of it is all mesh. I've shown you the back, so what I'm going to do is plough straight in and take the side off. Right, there's the side off. And straight away we can see the power supply on the side, which is quite a unique layout idea, because obviously you normally have it below or above the motherboard, and by moving it to the side it gives you the ability to fit a water cooling radiator here. Now obviously we've got the heat sink, the main CPU heat sink here, but you could get maybe not the thickest radiators like the phasers, the thicker XSPCs or even a Thermochill, but some of the medium ones you could probably get in there quite comfortably. With a bit of jiggery pokery you could get some of the larger ones in there, but sadly I've not got any here to have been able to test it. But you've got a good 40mm of space there, maybe even a little bit more. The trade-off with having the power supply down here though is the fact that the cables straight away are all visible and there's not really anywhere to put them. Now, as I've done with all the other cases that I did, I could spend hours trying to route it here, route it there, route it everywhere else. But I'd rather show you like the worst case scenario, and those amongst you that do want to, you can understand that there's a bit of a task ahead. And for those of you that just want it tidy but can't be bothered with the cabling, well, you can see what you have to do. Now the hard drives are mounted vertically in the front. Now I found this quite strange. Now I know why they've done it, it's because they've not got the room to put them horizontally. But by putting them vertically, it's just like a wall in front of the fan at the front. And although these fans do move a lot of air, it doesn't really cool the drive behind. Now, if you've got the good airflow, but if you had it the other way around, then you definitely would get a better airflow over the drives. Now, it does state that you can have 4 hard drives in the system, 2 in the front, and you can get 2 up here. But the 2 up here, although there is a little bit of rubber stripping that you can use, it is all quite, it probably would vibrate quite a bit through. These drives at the front have got extra grommets at the back, so it gives it that extra bit of vibrational sort of like support. I use the normal test system that I do with all the case reviews, which is the Maximus Formula Q6600. I always try and use this Nexus heatsink as well, because it's a pain in the bum to fit on quite a few cases. And then we've got 2 4870s, 4GB of dummy RAM, and the big beefy 1000-watt Corsair. And the reason why I choose this is because it is, it's that bit longer. Now, what I do is I have all the fans on 12 volt, as I do with all of the cases. Now, at 150 CFM, these each, I might add, the front and the roof fans do make a lot of noise, but they are very good at cooling, because it kept the CPU at idle at 31. It is stock, and at a maximum loadout was 50 degrees. So, do you know what I mean? All that airflow did make a massive amount of difference. Now, with the new testing on the graphics cards and having those set at 50% and stuck at 50% with a manual setting, we were getting idles of 52 and maximum load at 71, because, like I said, with the hard drives here, it does restrict the airflow quite a bit. I would like to have moved the hard drives and see if it made any difference, but you've still got quite a bit of cabling and everything there. Now, if you didn't have such a mental sort of like full up system, it probably would work quite well. It's obviously an ideal LAN case, because it's, for what you can get inside, it is still quite small. It's not, it's not quite tall. You could carry it around with you quite easily, because it's not like crazily heavy. It's very well constructed. It's a fully welded chassis. And like I said, with the ability to water cool, and you get a 240mm radiator, which means you can either have a crazily overclocked CPU, or you could probably get a decent graphics card and CPU loop, as long as you weren't running a 295 or a 4870X2, for example, but you should do fine. Now, I like the design, definitely. I like the idea of the layout and stuff, but for me, the wiring really would be an issue for me, as it has been with quite a few other cases. But because of the layout and stuff, I do actually really like it. It would be something that I'd consider, as long as I could sort something out with the cables and such. A false floor may be an idea. Maybe some trunking so that you can hide the cables and get them to the motherboard a bit better. Basically, all you want to do is get them down and get them around. You may even be able to put them straight to the front and then up round the back. But yeah, there's your NZXT Panzerbox. Like I said, I do quite like the layout, but it's just the cabling that really puts me off. So I won't pass any more judgments, and I'll leave it up to you to whether it's a case that you'd want to use in your own system or not. I'm going to break this down now and move on with my next case, because I've got quite a few to get through. But for all you Time to Live Customs and the OC3D TV That's the name you're going to want to remember. Regulars. Yeah, it's for now. Why do I always say for now? I've never been able to work that out. But anyway, first review in a new place. It's Tom from Time to Live Customs.